people like this more because you're not balancing charges and everything else. So chemical two-word equations. Let's try this. CaCO3S. Okay, so what are we dealing with here? It is an ionic compound, right? Calcium is a metal, so we're just naming ionic compounds here. And when you name ionic compounds, no prefixes. That's going to be the big thing. If there is a metal, like we have here with calcium, ionic, no prefixes. If you have two nonmetals, like you're going to see here with CO2, covalent. Okay, so again, just don't forget, I'm going to write that again. Ionic, you have a metal, covalent, nonmetals, two nonmetals, I should say. And then we can't forget about acids, because we're actually going to see an acid in this problem. Your acids, remember, start with hydrogen. Okay, aside from water, if it's H2O, you can just put water. But your acids are going to start with hydrogen. So CaCO3 is just solid. I tend to put the state of matter first. If you put it second, I would never take points off. It just tends to sound better the majority of the time if you put it first. So solid. Calcium. Calcium is Ca. CO3 is carbonate. So we're just writing it out. Solid calcium carbonate. And could be your plus sign. HCl, it's an acid because it starts with hydrogen. It's specifically a binary acid because there's only two elements here. So what we're going to do is we're going to include our prefix hydro. That chlorine is going to become chloric and acid. All right, arrow, to produce. Oops, I forgot. I keep forgetting my states of matter, guys. I'm going to do it a lot. Try not to do it yourself, okay? So aqueous hydrochloric acid to produce aqueous calcium chloride. KCaCl2, again, calcium is a metal, so that's ionic. No prefixes, just use what you have. And water, again, you could put liquid water if you wanted to, that's really fine, but I'm just going to put water. And CO2G. So CO2, you have two nonmetals, that means you're covalent, and you need prefixes. I don't need a prefix on my carbon because there's only one of them, so just carbon, but I do need a prefix on my oxygen because there are two of them. So dioxide, gas, right? And then you're done. Again, once you've gotten to the end, you're done with these. Okay, we're strictly just going from one form to another, and I promise it will help, and I promise you will need it. Okay, it will be super helpful, especially once we get to the end of this chapter. So let's do a couple more. H2G plus O2G yields H2OL. So H2 is just hydrogen, and G is gas, so hydrogen gas. And this is one of those instances where it sounds better to put the state of matter second, so just like use what you think is best. So here I think hydrogen gas sounds better than gas hydrogen, so hydrogen gas. And O2 is oxygen, oxygen gas. You don't need to worry about the 2's next to them, okay? It does not need to be dihydrogen or dioxygen, just hydrogen, just oxygen, because we know they're diatomic. That's why the 2's are there. So you don't need to add anything extra for those 2's, those subscripts. So hydrogen gas and oxygen gas react to produce. Again, put what sounds best. Water. And you could put liquid water. You could put dihydrogen monoxide if you wanted, but water's fine. So that's it. Done. Let's try this one. CO2 plus H2O yields C6H12O6 plus O2. If any of you remember from your biology days, this is photosynthesis. Okay, I'm sure you had that memorized at one point last year. So CO2, we've seen that already. It's covalent. It is carbon dioxide. So carbon dioxide gas and water react to produce C6H12O6. I will never give you a long one like this unless I think you know what it means. And I think you should know the name of this because, again, biology. So maybe some of you have forgotten, but C6H12O6 is glucose. So you're reacting to produce solid glucose, which is sugar, and oxygen gas. And you're done, right? These ones are a lot easier because you're just writing what's there. This will be our last one. And then this balancing equations that you see next, that'll be on your part 2 video. So N2 plus O2 yields N2O. So again, N is just nitrogen. It is one of your diatomic elements, okay? So that 2 is unnecessary to write. When you write your word equation, just writing nitrogen gas by itself, the 2 is assumed because it is diatomic. Okay, so you don't need to do anything with that 2. Same for the oxygen. So it's just nitrogen gas and oxygen gas react to produce N2O. N2O is covalent. You have 2 nonmetals here. Nitrogen is a nonmetal and oxygen is a nonmetal. So you need prefixes. And this becomes a dinitrogen, right? We need a prefix on the nitrogen because there's more than one. Okay, so because there's 2, we need the prefix, dinitrogen, and your second element always gets a prefix. So monoxide gas. And then you're done. I should note, just as a little helpful hint here on homework and whatnot, sometimes instead of seeing react to produce, you'll see yields, okay, and that means the same thing. I think I just spelled that wrong. I think it's IE, but either way, yields will mean the same as react to produce for future reference. So that's your part 1 video. Please email me with questions or pop into the office hours if you need any help, guys. Thanks.